Oprah Winfrey. You know, when I was growing up, I really had a lot of admiration for Oprah. You know, I went to college, studied broadcast journalism and English. Like, for me, Oprah was kind of like that when I'm looking for someone that is a great host or a great interviewer. Oprah was that inspiration for me, right? So I loved Oprah, thought she was the best of the best, the best, the best. Then I got older and I started to realize there were some things about Oprah Winfrey that were just not okay, actually. That goes far back to her first start into journalism, some of the people that she stepped on to get to where she is, some of the things that she did, some of the people that she sold out. You don't get to become a billionaire without exploiting people along the way, some way, shape, or form, right? And then there were stories about the company that she would keep. Oprah was another one who was apparently very close to Harvey Weinstein. There were just things that I did not pay close attention to. There is a story that came out recently. I don't think a lot of people are going to cover this. But you know, Oprah has had spiritual advisors. Marianne Williamson was a former spiritual advisor to Oprah Winfrey. And she also had a spiritual healer. Her spiritual healer, who, by the way, I want to start off, before I get into this article, I want to start off by saying they are already guilty. They were already guilty. So don't come for me, okay? They were already guilty, and now there is more. So let's get into this story. Oprah's spiritual healer sentenced to 99 years, we're going to say assaulting, for assaulting girls and accused of baby trafficking. This was released July 11th, 2023. Now, we got Oprah, who's buddy with Harvey Weinstein. Apparently also has some connection to Jeffrey Epstein. I don't think Oprah knows how to pick them. Right? Let's get into this story. This is crazy shit. Moving on. So that's him. Okay? All right. Oprah's personal spiritual healer, Joao de Deus, or John of God, has been sentenced to an additional 99 years in prison after being found guilty of assaulting hundreds of women and young girls. So I want to be clear again. He was already guilty. Just want to make this very clear. This was news to me too. I did not know about any of this. Okay? He was already guilty. This is in addition to the sentence that he already has. And I see some of you in the chat saying you didn't know about this either. So we need to ask the question, why didn't we know about this? Let's go on. For decades, from his small town in center-west Brazilian state, I ain't even going to try to pronounce that, but Teixeira de Faria built a worldwide reputation as a medium and faith healer. Oprah Winfrey endorsed, this is John of, make sure I'm saying this correctly, John of God, endorsed John of God on her talk show in 2012 after traveling all the way to Brazil to interview him, calling him inspiring and encouraging women to seek his help. So she went to see him. Let's go on. This was reported. John of God gained a following of faithful foreigners who call him John of God when he appeared on a program by American presenter Oprah Winfrey in 2012. Among his international fans, figure like former U.S. President Bill Clinton, actress Shirley MacLaine, and model Naomi Campbell. Now, does anybody see any similarities here? There's Bill Clinton, who was also friends with Epstein. Could just be a coincidence. Let's go on. But his empire came crashing down in 2018 when a scandal of gigantic proportions broke, revealing that the medium had assaulted or abused hundreds of women and girls who sought his spiritual help. Now, Oprah, I don't want to say she recruited these women, but she encouraged women to seek help from him. And this guy was an abuser. Let's go on. Okay. This Monday, the 10th, the medium better known as John of God was sentenced to an additional sentence of 99 years in prison for sexual crimes. John of God will spend the rest of his life behind bars, but the most disturbing allegations against him have been brushed under the carpet. The baby trafficking operation. An anti-child trafficking activist blew the whistle, claiming John of God ran a baby trafficking operation where children were then sold to childless couples. The what? Never heard of this guy. There's Oprah again. Activist Sabrina Bittencourt, whose investigations led to his arrest. So this is the activist who actually was able to bring him down, whose investigations led to his arrest, claims the celebrity medium ran a baby trafficking operation where children were farmed in Brazil before being sold to childless couples around the world. She alleges that young girls were held captive in remote farms where they were forced to produce babies before being murdered after 10 years of giving birth. What the what? Again, I want to remind you, whether you believe this or not, this guy has already he was already convicted. They added 99 years onto the sentence he already had. Bittencourt spoke to women from 3 continents who claimed they bought Brazilian babies from John of God. These girls were murdered after 10 years of giving birth. We've got a number of testimonies. She added, we have received reports from the adoptive mothers of their children that were sold for between $20,000 and $50,000 in Europe, the USA, and Australia, as well as testimony from ex-workers and local people who are tired of being complicit with John of God's gang. But in a shocking but hardly unexpected turn of events, Sabrina Bittencourt was found to have committed suicide while living in Spain under protection from death threats she was receiving. The what? Just like Jeffrey Epstein, right? The Sun reported sexual abuse support group Víctimas Unidas, which worked with Sabrina, said she had left a note explaining why she committed suicide. Eldest son Gabriel Baum confirmed her death, writing on Facebook, she took the last step so that we could live. They killed my mother. Okay, now, I told you I never heard of this guy. I never heard this story before. So when I saw that, I was like, I need to do a little bit more digging. And apparently, BuzzFeed reported on this in 2018 when John of God was originally sentenced. So somebody covered it. But if you Google this, there's not much information to be found. I'm here to tell you. So this is what BuzzFeed said. Again, 2018. This is from Hayes Brown. John of God was once hyped by Oprah. Now he's accused of abusing hundreds of women. So Hayes broke this story. There he is there. This is very tiny text. Maybe BuzzFeed is one of those ones. John of God, he's a Brazilian medium healer, subject of a profile by Oprah as of earlier this week, accused of abusing hundreds of women. Listen to this. Faria became famous for his intense methods of healing. Though he doesn't have a medical license, he performs both spiritual healing, praying intensely for believers and placing hands on them to cure their afflictions, and what appeared to be actual surgical procedures without anesthesia. This was crazy. He has been written about for years since his practice started in 1978. But an episode of Oprah in 2012 devoted to him raised his profile exponentially. Last Friday, 4 women appeared on Brazilian television to accuse him of abusing them when they'd come to him for assistance. Speaking of TV Globo, 3 of the women described their encounters with him to host Pedro Bial on condition of anonymity. Dutch choreographer Zahira decided to be named and said that during one of her trips to see the healer, to be cured of the trauma of previous sexual abuse, he took her into back room, and you can read that there. It's YouTube. We got to be careful. So she went to see him about trauma she had from sexual abuse, and he sexually abused her. Let's go on. I really hope I can help other women out of the shadow, because we do not need to feel ashamed. He has to feel ashamed, and all the people who protected him so he can continue to do what he does. She later told the New York Times in an interview that she heard of John of God from a friend and had seen Oprah Winfrey's documentary. On Monday, Brazilian prosecutors announced that since the program had aired, more than 200 women came forward to say that they had also been abused by John of God while seeking treatment. So it was actually that segment from Oprah that made more victims come forward. Seeing this guy on TV and be like, whoa, 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 you cannot promote this guy. We go down to this point here. His lawyer in an interview said that there was something amiss in just how many people were coming forward. There were 10, there were 20, they were talking about 200, which is strange. This is something we are investigating. Was it considered strange when that happened to Bill Cosby? Just because it's a lot of people doesn't mean it didn't happen. Sounds like to me, John was running some type of cult. And again, keep in mind, this guy was already convicted. They already found him guilty. They came back and added on more years to the sentence. So what does that tell you? I don't hear Oprah talking about this. I see Oprah on TV talking about everything else. Oprah talked to Meghan and Prince Harry, or former Prince, whatever he is now. Oprah will sit up there and, let me have a conversation with Jay-Z. Let me talk to President Obama. But I don't hear Oprah talking about John. Some sick people in this world. Now, here's the screenshot. A screenshot from a Brazilian airing of Winfrey's 2010 episode on John of God, since removed from YouTube. So that episode of Oprah's, she removed it, or somebody from Harpo, whatever, they removed it. But there's the screenshot. Okay, John of God right there. Now, listen to this. Among those whom Casey spoke to for her article is Dr. Oz, a longtime Oprah collaborator who in 2005 examined his claims for ABC's News Primetime Live. When talking to ABC, Oz was creditless about the possibility that the healer's methods work saying that Faria's surgeries could be an old magician's trick, but it's a pretty powerful one from a physician's perspective. I think the next big frontier is unlocking doors to energy medicine. This is coming from Dr. Oz. Sound like a money scam. Oh my God. Who has come under fire for his promotion of unscientific methods of healing over the years on his syndicated television show. It dramatically broadens our vista of opportunities to heal. The challenge we have is that energy is not as easily quantified as the surgeon's scalpel. If we can understand what role he's playing in reversing illness, we should be doing that here. Now, here's Dr. Oz saying, yeah, we can understand it. Let's do what he's doing too. You see the connection, all these people, Dr. Oz, Oprah, Bill Clinton, John of God, Epstein. After the profile, Winfrey herself traveled to Brazil in 2020 to meet with him for an episode of Oprah's Next Chapter that would air the next year. In the episode, in a written piece, she said she experienced something profound with the medium during a period where she was worrying about the health of the Oprah Winfrey network, her television channel. She's a billionaire. Don't know why she would be that concerned. I closed my eyes and sat quietly, feeling the rhythm of my breath. Tears of gratitude started to flow. Gratitude for the whole journey of my life, not just everything that had gone right, but the things that had not. Guys, this is scary. I went to Brazil in 2012 to tape an episode of Oprah's Next Chapter that explored controversial healing methods of John of God. The episode aired in 2013. I empathize with the women now coming forward and hope justice is served. A representative for OWN didn't return a request for comment. After everything that happened, that was the response. And then here's a picture. Faria's followers demonstrate in Brazil on December 13th. But I told you this was a scam, a cult scam. The fuck? I told you guys, some of these rich people are some weird shit. I knew it. The scandal has yet to dissuade Faria's followers from flocking to the small town where Faria runs his healing center. Now, again, this was before they got him. This is before he was arrested. Now, I want to click on that article, that link right there, told the New York Times. So even the New York Times reported on it. Celebrity healer in Brazil is accused of sexually abusing followers. So look, this was December 11, 2018. So the New York Times reported on this as well. I'm just going to say this. There are some sick people out there. And I don't know any of these people personally. But I'll just go back to what we said at the very beginning. This guy was already convicted. So they had enough to convict him. And this gentleman, I should not call him a gentleman. This guy just got 99 more years added on to that sentence. But there is something off here. Something really, all these people, it's the same, here's Dr. Oz, who's actually a medical doctor, saying, well, maybe we should look into what he's doing over there. What? Sounds like a scam. Sounds like a money scam. I knew there was something not right. But I hope more people, you share this story with people. People need to know about this. And I don't care if you like Oprah or not. But there is something off about this here. Let's just keep it real. Thank you for the super chat, M. Smith. Oprah is a M-effing gatekeeper. Thank you, Miss. Corbel works as a psyop. And thank you, the amazing Blumpkin. And who are all these folks smack talking sound of freedom? O's record of unleashing hell on us is odd. Next time, Oprah, thanks, but no thanks. I have not seen Sound of Freedom, but this is weird. Very weird. Okay, let's go to the comment on Rockfin, Eric. Thank you for the tip on Rockfin, Roger. 50 was right. She spent so much of her life bashing Black men, with hip hop being a convenient excuse, but not watching men on her right flank who were not Black. But in 80s and 90s, you couldn't say nothing about her, or else the sisters would come after you like a pack of elderly sisters for criticizing the Democratic Party. When she would lend her help to Black people, it would be from other countries. I've noticed that. I did notice that about her. I'm sorry, Bryce. I'm going to be saying F Oprah the whole night now, Sabby. Thanks. I'm sorry. There is something off here. It just, I don't like that energy over there. Okay. I do not like that. A-Ross says covering for wealthy men. Oh no, maybe more people will talk about this. That's a scary story. Like, I'm like, are people seeing this? Okay.